Hi, good morning everybody. Ohayo Mina. So today we are going to explore about the K-12 English curriculum. But before that, by the way, I am Charles Vasquez, your teacher for today's video. Now that Mr. Jovan is already done with the introduction about the overview of the K-12 English curriculum, and that includes the philosophy and rationale, let's now proceed to its principles and framework. Well, anyways, first let's talk about what is curriculum guide, by the way. Well, a curriculum guide is a well-structured document that delineates the philosophy, goals, objectives, pedagogical practices, instructional materials, and assessments that comprise a particular educational program. It also provides an articulation of what students should know and be able to do, as well as supports the teachers in selecting how to achieve these goals. Now, what you see here is the framework of K-12 English curriculum. Now, what are the foundations of K-12 curriculum? The foundations of K-12 English curriculum are, first, the theories of language teaching, second, theories of language learning acquisition, and third is theories of language. These hypotheses have saved 5 parts of the language instructing process that incorporates the SIICC, or the spiral progression, integration, interaction, contextualization, and construction. These parts cover the viable utilization of language in 3 significant uses of the macro skills as far as understanding cultures, processes and strategies, and understanding language. The complicatedly interweaved and incorporated listening, speaking and viewing, reading, viewing and responding, writing and representing advances a similar result which is thinking. This implies that it empowers the understudies to make significance through language. The principal objectives of the educational program are then accomplished only in communicative competence and multiliteracies. Presently, the reason of assessment, as you can find in this side, is to quantify the adequacy of educational programs, defending parts, and applications. It gives the fundamental feedback to lay out whether the students' correspondence capacities and multiliteracies have been completely evolved. Thus, the essential goals are fulfilled. Are you still with me? Alright, shall we proceed? Okay. Now, let's move on to the principles and guidelines of an effective language arts and multiliteracies curriculum to further discuss and emphasize the framework of K-12 English curriculum. The K-12 language arts and multiliteracies curriculum is anchored on the following language acquisition, learning, teaching, and assessing principles. First, we have all languages are interrelated and mutually interdependent. So what do you mean by that? This means that learning language and acquisition is a lifetime process that begins at birth and continues throughout one's life. Learning necessitates the presence of meaning. This would also mean that students learn about language and how to use it effectively through interaction with others and study of books. Second, we have language acquisition and learning is an active process that begins at birth and continues throughout life. This means that students improve their language skills by putting whatever they have learned into new and more difficult settings with the growing sophistication, of course. They also think about and use prior knowledge or information to broaden and improve their language and comprehension. Further, students enhance also their language fluency and competency by learning and integrating new language structures into their repertoire, which they subsequently use in a range of circumstances. The third one is learning requires meaning. Of course, people learn when they apply what they already know to comprehend what is new. This means that teachers should begin with what students already know and utilize it to teach new concepts for learners to utilize language to compare new events and information to previous knowledge, experiences, and beliefs. So the next one is learners learn about language and how to use it effectively through their engagement with and study of text. So what do we mean by text, by the way? The term text refers to any form of written, oral, and visual communication involving language. This would also mean that students learn about language through a wide range of texts, from quick interaction to extensive and intricate forms of writing. The study of a specific text is a means to an end rather than a goal in itself for learners to accomplish the intended results of language. Learners also learn to develop their own text as well as engage in writings created by others. So the last one is successful language learning involves viewing, listening, speaking, reading, and writing activities. This means that language learning should include a plethora of strategies and activities that help students focus on both meaning and accuracy. Now, what do you mean by plethora? Plethora of strategies and activities. When we say plethora, it means variety. Variety of tactics and activities that help students focus on meaning as well as accuracy. Moreover, language learning involves recognizing, accepting, valuing, and building on students' existing language competence, including the use of non-standard forms of the language and extending the range of language available to students. This means that through language learning, learners develop functional and critical literacy skills. They learn to control and understand the conventions of the target language that are valued and rewarded by society and to reflect on and critically analyze their own use of language and the language of others. Alright, now let's move on to the outcomes of the K-12 English curriculum. Now, what is the ultimate goal of K-12 English curriculum, by the way? The ultimate goal of K-12 English curriculum is to produce graduates who can use language conventions, principles, strategies, and skills in first, interacting with others, second, understanding and learning other content areas, and last but not the least, funding for themselves in whatever field of endeavor they may engage in. Now, to sum up our discussion for today's video, indeed, English language is a lingua franca in the world to communicate your thoughts and ideas on a global scale. Aside from being a popular language, English continues to rule in the business world. English language as one of the macro skills is essential for an individual's success. Learning to read is also a sequential process. Each new skill builds on the mastery of previously learned skills. Early on, for example, he learns to break down words into their most basic sound in a process called decoding. Later, he begins to comprehend the meaning of the words, sentences, and ultimately the entire passages of text. Indeed, according to Francis Bacon, reading makes a fool man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. What do you mean by that? It means that extensive reading fills the mind with information and ideas which inspire and provide for further thought and lead to new ideas. By conference, Dr. Bacon evidently means conversation. Conversing with many people and with many different kinds of people will make a man or a woman or a child sophisticated, versatile, and adaptable to in varying situations and personalities. Furthermore, better understanding of our people from our nation and our culture by way of effective communication and collaboration with theater arts and music, reinforcing appreciation of our own culture and connecting to the postmodern literary arts by reading books as a way of appreciation in using the second language is embracing and embodying the beauty of our uniqueness and diversity. You will also appreciate your favorite characters from your favorite novels, such as Game of Thrones, Hunger Games, Harry Potter, Hobbit, and much more, as these characters will come to life and shall inspire and transform us to be globally competitive and ready for all the challenges ahead. Now, that ends our discussion for today's video, and I hope you learned something new from this lesson. May you all have a wondrous and blissful day ahead or along the way. Once again, thank you for listening. Peace.